It's 9 p.m. and you've already eaten dinner. You're not even hungry, but you cannot stop thinking about something sweet. If perimenopause cravings feel impossible to control, you are almost certainly making one of these five mistakes. And mistake number five, almost every woman I work with is doing it, and it's the one keeping them stuck. So let me walk you through all of them so you know exactly what to fix. But before we go there, I want to talk about why cravings get so much worse in perimenopause because your hormones, your estrogen and progesterone are all over the map. And when estrogen drops, it affects how your body handles blood sugar and how much serotonin you're actually making. That is why you can feel totally fine 1 minute and then suddenly need something sweet the next minute. It's not something that you're doing, but it is your hormones messing with your blood sugar and your mood. When you're making these five mistakes, you are making the hormonal chaos so much worse. So let's go through them. All right, I want to start with mistake number one. And honestly, this is the biggest one and it sets up your entire day. Okay, so mistake number one is that you are not stabilizing your blood sugar early in the morning. And this is a huge foundation. And if you mess it up, the rest of your day is going to be set up for cravings. Here is what I constantly see. You skip breakfast or you just have coffee and maybe you grab a protein bar or a banana on your way out the door, and you're like, okay, I'm fine. I'm not hungry. But I want you to know what's actually happening during this. Your blood sugar never actually stabilizes. And so by 10 a.m., you are already just reaching for something just to get through the day and just to function. And that kicks off the cycle that will last the rest of your day. And then at night, what your body's doing is you're trying to compensate for what you didn't get earlier. And that's why we're standing in the kitchen in the evenings, even though you're not really hungry and you want something sweet. So, what I want you to do instead is start your morning with 20 to 30 grams of protein. And look, it's not hard. It sounds a lot more overwhelming than it is. But if you think about doing things that are small and you do ahead of time, like make some eggs and have some veggies, or if you have some Greek yogurt with berries and nuts, or maybe you don't have time to make a ton of things. So you want to have a protein smoothie that you can make and add in some healthy fats. Or look, maybe you just have leftovers from last night because it really can be that easy. But I want you to eat before you have coffee because at the end of the day, coffee on an empty stomach is going to spike your cortisol and mess with your blood sugar. And that sets you up for so many cravings later. And you know that I've talked about this in other videos, so you can watch that video here. But I want you to think about having protein first and then coffee second, because that one change can cut your cravings in half. So you've stabilized your morning, but one of the things that trips people up, and I did it for years without even realizing it was a problem. So mistake number two is that you're eating naked carbs. What's a naked carb, you ask? Well, that is actually when you're eating carbs without pairing them with something like a protein, a fat, or a fiber. So think about things like a banana just by itself, or maybe toast with just some jelly or jam, or maybe just pretzels and crackers, rice cakes with nothing on them. See where I'm going, right? Even that healthy granola bar that you think is good for you is more likely a naked carb. So when you eat carbs alone, your blood sugar shoots up so fast, and then it crashes really hard. And what does your body want when it crashes? More carbs and more sugar. So in perimenopause, when your blood sugar regulation is already compromised, the cravings are louder and they become more intense. And you're like, this is what I need. I've got to have sugar. I need to find it somewhere. And so this is what I want you to do instead. I don't want you to eat carbs alone, okay? I want you to start pairing them with something. So maybe that's an apple with almond butter, or maybe you're having toast with avocado and eggs, or you're having cheese and crackers with hummus, or maybe you have a banana and almond butter with a little bit of cinnamon on it and some chocolate chips. So good. And it's one of my favorites. So this actually will slow down how fast the sugar hits your system. And it keeps you fuller longer and it stops that like crash and crave cycle thing that happens to all of us. So this also applies to healthy carbs, right? Even the fruit, even the grains, I want you to start to pair them with something. Kind of like I gave you the example of pairing the apple or the banana with some almond butter. Okay. So if you're thinking, okay, well, what else can I pair? What are some good options? I made a guide. It's called Healthy Swaps Made Easy, and it's got a lot of pairings and better snack options and what to look for in the store. so that you're not standing there second guessing every choice. My link is in the description and you can just grab it now. So, mistake number 3 is one that not a lot of people talk about, but it's actually really important, and that is ignoring the mineral gap. And this is huge in perimenopause. And this is what I mean. So, when your hormones are changing, you are losing more minerals than you realize. Night sweats, you're sweating out electrolytes, or if you have hot flashes, same. Or if you are stressed, which I know so many of us are in perimenopause, especially when you have kids and teens, you will burn through magnesium like crazy. And when you're low on certain minerals, your body sends signals trying to get what it needs. But you think it's just cravings that you actually need to resist. So, for example, if you're low in magnesium, you are craving chocolate and sugar, and that's your body literally just trying to get some magnesium. But if you're low in sodium, you might be craving salty foods or this just like need something kind of a craving. If you're dehydrated, your brain actually confuses thirst with hunger. So you might be reaching for food when you actually just need water and electrolytes. And most women in perimenopause are deficient in magnesium and not getting enough sodium because we've been told for decades that salt is really the enemy. So instead, I want you to focus on a lot of magnesium rich foods. So I want you to think dark and leafy greens, nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds and almonds, dark chocolate. Yes, I want you to focus on 70% dark chocolate or higher because those are the really good ones. Avocados, beans, and legumes. And I don't want you to necessarily be afraid of salt, but make sure you pay attention to it, right? And it's not table salt, okay? So if you're eating whole foods and not a ton of processed stuff, you probably do need more sodium, not less, because you are not eating all of the packaged stuff anymore. So you could add a pinch of Celtic sea salt to your water or some salt to your food. But, if you still are eating a lot of packaged processed foods, then you may not need as much salt because you're still getting probably too much salt in those packaged foods. So I want you to think about adding electrolytes to your water. I love the Just Ingredients electrolytes. And I don't want you to think about these like sugary sports drinks like Gatorade, because Gatorade has a ton of added sugar in a 32-ounce bottle. It's more than what you need in an entire day. So clean electrolyte packets are great, like Just Ingredients, or a pinch of sea salt and some lemon. And when you start to fix these mineral gaps, those intense cravings, especially for chocolate and sugar, often kind of go away. And this one was huge for me because I thought I had zero self-control around sugar, but it turned out I was really just depleted in a lot of what I actually needed. So we've covered what you're eating and what your body needs nutritionally, but mistake number 4 is about when you're eating, and the timing is just as important as what's on your plate. Okay, so mistake number 4 is you're waiting too long between meals. And this was me for a long time because I would have breakfast, which maybe it wasn't really real breakfast, power through my day. Maybe I'd go grab some crackers and random stuff for lunch at like 2 o'clock. And then I would wonder why at 5 o'clock I was just like losing it mentally and also eating everything while I was trying to figure out dinner. So what happens is when you go more than 4 or 5 hours without eating, your blood sugar drops and your body starts going into stress mode, and then your cortisol spikes. And then you're just not making rational choices anymore. And you just are like going and grabbing those things because you need to survive. So that was why I was grabbing all of those things at 5 o'clock, because I was just trying to survive, and why you really can't stop once you start. So that's your body in emergency mode. So I want you to instead think about something like this. I want you to eat every 4, maybe ish hours. So maybe you're having breakfast in the morning, and then maybe you have a snack, and then you have lunch, and then you let your body have a little bit of rest and digest between lunch and dinner. And you have an earlier dinner if you can. And if you don't, then maybe you have a small snack in between lunch and dinner. And look, I'm not talking about full meals every single time. A snack can literally be something so easy, not naked carbs, but maybe it's a piece of fruit and some almond butter, or veggies and hummus, or a hard-boiled egg and some berries. Okay. Just needs to be something that is going to help keep your blood sugar stable so that you're not in survival mode by dinner. And when you focus on that consistently, then those nighttime cravings naturally start to decrease because your body's not really panicking and trying to catch up. So you're eating your protein breakfast, you're pairing your carbs now, and you're eating a little bit more consistently throughout the day. But here's the thing. You might think you're eating healthy, but this is where mistake number 5 comes in, and it is something that I see so many women doing. So mistake number 5 is that you are not reading ingredient labels and sugar is hiding everywhere. So you think you're eating healthy and you're buying better options, but that protein bar, yeah, it might have 18 grams of sugar. Or that flavored yogurt, 12 grams of added sugar. Or healthy granola, tons of sugar. Salad dressing, also sugar. And your pasta sauce also has sugar. The thing is that sugar has over 60 different names on ingredient labels. Cane juice, maltodextrin, brown rice syrup, evaporated cane juice, agave nectar, coconut sugar, date syrup. They're all sugars. And companies know that you're looking for sugar on the label, so this is why they use these other names. And they're counting on you not flipping over the package. So what do I want you to do? I want you to flip it over and I want you to look at the ingredient list, not just the nutrition facts, but you should be looking at added sugar. So nutrition facts, yes, but I also want you to see if sugar or lots of different names are in the first 3 to 5 ingredients. And if they are, then I would suggest putting it back. Okay. And making sure that you don't have more than 5 grams of added sugar per serving. If you're thinking there and you're like, okay, but what are all these names? What should I actually buy? I have a guide, Healthy Swaps Made Easy. It's got some of the sneaky sugar names in it and also better options and go-to swaps so that you're not just standing in the aisle, panicking and not knowing what to buy. So the link is in the description. You can grab it. But this is where people start to go wrong. Okay, they find out that sugar is everywhere and they start panicking and you start cutting out everything. No sugar, no carbs, nothing. Like you're just panicked. And this always backfires. Look, I hate the word willpower because it makes it sound like being strong enough or disciplined enough is just enough, but that's actually not what fixes this. When you tell yourself that you can't have something, your brain fixates on it. And in perimenopause, when your hormones are already intensifying and you have cravings, and that just makes forbidden foods even worse. So instead of banning foods, I want you to start to get smarter and read labels and choose options with less added sugar, but I don't want you to make anything ever completely off limits because when you stop forbidding foods, the obsession fades. And when your blood sugar starts to become stable from everything else we just talked about, you don't even want it as much. So when your blood sugar is steady and your minerals are topped up, cravings naturally decrease. All right, so those are the 5 mistakes. So let's pull this all together so you know exactly what to do next. So, not stabilizing blood sugar in the morning, eating naked carbs, ignoring the mineral gap, waiting too long before meals, and not reading labels. These are the things that are making your cravings so much worse. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one thing, the one that resonated the most, and I want you to fix it for 3 days. I just want you to pick one. I don't want you to overhaul everything. So if it's mistake number 1, then I want you to focus on 20 to 30 grams of protein before coffee for 3 days. Mistake number 2, I want you to pair every single carb with protein or fat for at least 3 days. Mistake number 3, I want you to focus on magnesium-rich foods and adding electrolytes for 3 days. Mistake number 4, eat every 3 to 4 hours for 3 days. And mistake number 5, I want you to read labels and aim for no more than 5 grams of added sugar for 3 days per serving, not total. That's it. 3 days. And then I want you to see what changes. And listen, I know reading labels and figuring out what to buy can feel super overwhelming at first. And that's why I created the Healthy Swaps Made Easy guide. So if you want a cheat sheet on what to swap and what to look for and how to make better choices without overthinking, then download the free guide for Healthy Swaps Made Easy. The link is below. Now, the guide is great for getting started, but if you're someone who needs ongoing support, not just a one-time download, but actual coaching and community to help make this stick, then that's why I created the collective. And that is monthly support for women in perimenopause who are done Googling and sick of starting over every single Monday. And every month we are going to tackle one thing. So think sugar, cravings, meal planning, reading labels with a 14-day challenge, live calls, and daily support. We do a sugar challenge inside of the collective, and that's where I show you exactly what to look for, what to swap, and how to make it work in your actual life. So I will drop the link to the collective below. And whether you grab the free guide, join the waitlist, or you just start with the 3-day experiment, now you have a clear path forward. So 5 mistakes, 1 experiment, and hopefully way less guilt about those 9 p.m. cravings. It is not about being stronger or more disciplined. It is about blood sugar, minerals, and timing. And now you know what to do to fix it. But here's what's interesting. A lot of women will say that once they fix these 5 things, their cravings calm down and they start noticing something else. Their anxiety actually gets better too. And that's not a coincidence because the same blood sugar chaos and mineral depletion that's driving your cravings is also making your perimenopause anxiety worse. So, if you're dealing with anxiety or racing thoughts or feeling on edge, or you're waking up at 3 a.m. with your mind spinning, I want you to watch this video next because I am breaking down the 3 habits that are secretly making your perimenopause anxiety worse and what to do instead.